and welcome back to our newest episode of the HR Insider. We are excited to bring you a special guest panel this evening.
We are talking tonight about cybersecurity because I have no advice to give you on that unless you want advice on how to accessorize your outfit or arrange your furniture. That's why we have these beautiful gentlemen here to help answer questions on cybersecurity. Thank you for coming, guys.
Thank you for having us.
So let's go down the row, and if you guys could introduce yourself, tell us about your company and what you do in just a few quick sentences, that would be great.
My name is Bob Rockers. I am the CTO of Automation Integrated. We are a software development, building automation, and security firm here in Oklahoma City, and we work nationwide, mostly in the IoT and big data space as related to building technology. So incorporating all of the devices that make up a building and all of the technology that provides for things like your temperature control, your lighting, your fixtures, access, motion, camera, all that kind of stuff. And then using that to do data analytics and to make better decisions about how to use your building and how to save energy and how to take better care of your employees.
So if we want it to do all of the things on its own, we call you.
Yes, absolutely.
There we go.
Is there a phone number on the bottom?
Chuck, with Easy Time Clock.
Yeah, I'm Charles with Easy Time Clock. You can call me Chuck. I'm not near as exciting sounding as he is. I just run the website and make sure that it works properly, it updates properly. I run a lot of the security, so people's information does not get hacked and things like that. So not quite as extensive, but it's still a full-time job.
You're really cool. You build the walls and things, right? Is that the right word?
Firewalls?
Yeah.
Firewall.
Maintain the firewall.
Maintain the firewalls. All right.
Andrew.
And I'm Andrew Noland with Alias Forensics. We are a digital forensics and information security company. What that means is we do everything from when a company has been compromised or hacked in some way. We can come in and we can investigate, get to the bottom of what happened. On the flip side of that, though, we want to catch people before this sort of thing happens. So we try and be proactive about it. We can help them with some security consulting, things like pen testing, social engineering exercises. We also help with security policies, security monitoring systems as well. We can be your security team as a service.
And specifically, what is your role with Alias Forensics?
And my role is a business development specialist.
So you go and talk to the people about all the fancy stuff that you guys do.
I consider myself a liaison to the IT security
There you
employees.
go. And Isaac.
My name is Isaac Elliott. I'm also with Alias Forensics. I think Andrew summed it up pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm
Thanks.
one of the security engineers there at the Alias Forensics.
So you actually do
I get to do the stuff.
stuff
In
that
engineer.
Yes.
you
It's
get
great.
in there and do it.
Yeah, everything from the social engineering all the way to the pen testing. We have a lot of fun with that stuff. So.
All right.
Yeah, front line.
So
Yes.
there's a word called the dark web. I don't know what this is, but it sounds very scary. Can you tell us what the dark web is and why it's dangerous?
Who wants to take a crack at that question?
Why don't you
I'll
start us off?
Sure. The dark web is basically a place where people want to remain anonymous, and it requires special, I guess you could say, software that to get to the dark web. Most of it's through encrypted connections, and takes you to a lot of dark places. Obviously, they sell information, you know, guns, drugs, human trafficking. It's pretty dark place.
Illegal otherwise.
Anything illegal, pretty much, and of course, law enforcement has a presence there too, to try to catch some of these bad guys. So.
Well, and the dark web, I mean, when people associate the dark web, often they're talking about things like Tor and
Sure.
you know, those kind of technologies. The dark web is also used for a lot of really useful things. There are people, literally right now, there are insurgents in Iran and you know, freedom fighters in China that are using those tools like that. So like any tool that can be abused, but yeah, it has a tendency to be a place where you don't hang out unless you're trying to hide something.
So on that, if it, just as somebody, as I'm hearing you guys say this, if it's that dangerous, I guess, why does it even, I mean, aren't we like an awesome enough universe of people that can just make the dark web not exist?
Well, you don't
Isn't
want
there
it
like
to
a
not
plug
exist,
the pool
right?
or
I
something?
mean, to some extent, you want information to be able to get out, and you want to provide a venue so that people who don't have any other way to communicate, it's often the first time that people in China hear about Tiananmen Square is from being able to research it on the dark web. There are literally people in the United States right now that are feeding their families by sending them bitcoins to Venezuela through the dark web. So like any other
Okay.
tool, it can be abused. And generally, you're not going to be on the dark web unless you mean to be. It's not something you can accidentally fall into, right? So, so thankfully, there is a police presence. There is just like if you were doing human trafficking here in the United States and using the tools that are available to us to do that. Thankfully, we have law enforcement that are pretending to be people looking for these kind of businesses. So there is that element as well. But it's not something you'd want to get rid of entirely because again, it's a tool.
It balances out in certain circumstances where it could be needed.
Yeah.
It sounds like. We have the concept of phishing, and of course, Beth and I are sitting here thinking, "Good God, why would we go outside?" Like that is just not something that I would want to do.
Different fishing.
But I'm assuming that phishing in technology means something different than I have to go outside and get sunburned, right?
Yeah.
You got something different than that? Can you guys explain to us a little bit about what that does, or what it is, or
What
how
is
it works?
fishing? pH.
pH.
So phishing with a pH is basically the use of email to either get somebody to download malware so that you can compromise their system, or you may pose as somebody else, somebody that you're not, and get them to do something incorrectly. A lot of phishing attacks are used to do wire transfers at banks.
Yeah.
You'll pose as like the CFO of that institution and say, sorry, I'm on vacation. The hacker was able to look, see he was on vacation from Facebook, so why not act like that person and shoot one of their employees that email?
I've had that actual very thing happen to me, or attempt to happen to me. And what's better was it came from my university on an email account that was made to look like one of my college professors. It wasn't their email account, it was one letter off.
Yeah.
But they worked really hard to make it look like it was coming from somebody I knew.
We recently got an email that looked just like OG&E, saying that we owed $900 to OG&E, and it looked real. And so, of course, we researched it, and it was phishing. So
If the
it
lights
can
go
look
off,
really,
we
really,
now know
really
why.
good. So be aware.
The bogus invoice email is one we get quite often, where people will
Yes.
say, "Hey, you owe this money, click on this link to type in your credit card." You just given your credit card out to whoever
Yeah.
sent that email.
Should
Yeah.
always click on links and type in credit card number.
Yeah.
It sounds like a late idea no matter what you do.
Best of defense is to go to the site
Sure.
you're doing and actually check to see if there's an invoice.
Yeah.
So here's a good question. How do they get our email?
Which now I can't blame on the dark web that they are these dark web people.
Are they the dark web people? How are these people phishing, getting our information, our emails, and knowing that that was your college professor? I mean, how are they connecting that together?
Like, who's that smart? Who's that time?
That's
A
the
lot of
deal.
research.
A lot of that stuff's just out on the internet. Everybody has Facebook today, everybody has Twitter, everybody has Instagram, and even outside of that, there are companies that all they do is gather information and sell it to other companies as potential leads for business, sort of things like that. So anytime you put your email into some random March Madness basketball bracket challenge, there's a chance that that information could be sold. And that's why it's important to read terms and conditions when you do stuff like that.
In our particular case, it was pretty obvious that they were directing at certain people. They had gained access to the email server of this particular university, and so they were making the specific emails targeted at high value targets. They call it whaling, actually, if you're aiming for C-level executives. And it's worth putting in some extra time to customize it if the likely target has a higher bankroll, or more accurately has sign off for a higher dollar value than say somebody with just a standard credit card. So
Do you have a Facebook account?
I do. I have Facebook, I have LinkedIn, I have Twitter, I have Pinterest.
So you can be on all of those things in Pinterest as a higher level executive, but still be able to protect yourself. So taking yourself off of those things is not necessarily a way to protect yourself from being targeted.
Well, my guess, and with my personal experience, and you guys may actually have some input on this more than me, you can't realistically hide yourself if you're going to have any kind of social presence.
Are there any things we can be doing to prevent phishing and spam? And, I mean, are there any advice on how we can reduce the risk?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just simply not signing up for everything under the sun, for one thing, and being careful where you create accounts. I think even,
Careful who you give your email to.
yeah,
things
you
like
give
that.
your email to, even the choice of the email provider that you pick, for example. I mean, I think that has a big difference, because some of the email providers will obviously harvest your information and market it to others. Not to name any, I guess, but yeah, but that's a big.
So do they have ownership of our personal email mailboxes? Like if I have a Yahoo account or a Gmail account, do they own my emails? I mean, can they get all that personal information?
Essentially, yes. I mean, you could look at the private or the agreements on those license agreements. Typically, they will use it and market your information, and will sell it off to third parties. So you have to be very careful what you agree to, because most people just kind of scroll down
Yeah, I
and say,
do.
check the box and move
Everybody,
on. So.
everybody's guilty of it.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us this evening. This will wrap up our first part of a two-part series on cybersecurity. So our panelists will be joining us again for our next episode on the HR Insider. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on YouTube. Thank you for watching our show today. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for further shows that we do, and leave us a comment if you have any questions.
Also, we would love your ideas for more topics, so if you have ideas, please leave them in the comments below. Thanks again.
Thanks.